on this weekend, exactly 40 years ago, occurs the 40th anniversary of a particular event which had happened in Poland. 19th of October 1984, autumn Saturday evening. That was the last day of life of a particular man, a priest, whose name was Jerzy Popiełuszko. He was a priest in Poland under the communist regime who died at the age of 37 years. He made the purpose of his vocation and ministry standing for the people who couldn't do it for themselves. He was a chaplain for the workers and for the great solidarity movement we all heard about from those communist times in Poland, especially 70s and 80s. But Father Popiełuszko, being a priest, praying fervently, oftentimes publicly stood in a defense for the people who were mistreated by the government, by the communist regime. He was standing for the steel workers and any others, and demanding the right of the faith and prayer and their human dignity in the social life. This man paid the highest price for standing up for those who couldn't do it for themselves. Firstly, he was persecuted, blackmailed. Also, many times they tried to break him. He was even having an offer to leave Poland, to go to Rome, to study there. All of that couldn't take him away from this particular mission he had, to stand for the truth, to defend the lonely and weak. Father Jerzy Popiełuszko had many very influential sayings. One of them is that Christians are obliged to stand by the truth, even when it's costly. Christians are obliged to stand for the truth, even when it's costly. The second famous one as well is overcome evil with good. Overcome evil with good. It occurs that this very weekend is that very anniversary of 1984, when on the 19th of October, Father Popiełuszko said the last public mass for hundreds and hundreds of people in Poland, in Bydgoszcz. And when on his way back he was traveling by car, he was attacked by 3 policemen, by 3 agents of the communist regime. He was stopped, beaten, and after that he was thrown inside the boot of the car of the policeman. But trying still to find out a way to win, to run away, they stopped the car a couple of times, beating him and strangling him until he was suffocating. Eventually, when after a couple of hours they arrived to the place they were planning to, they threw him into a deep lake, where on that very day, on that very night, he died. His body was found around 10 days afterwards. And after 40 years now, he is recognized in the church as the Blessed One. He is beatified. What strikes me the most, though, about his story is this, that Father Popiełuszko, he knew what is coming onto him if he will continue his work of standing for the weak, if he will be still saying and preaching the truth. To one of the sisters, nuns, he knew very well in the parish he was working, and who was also very much engaged in the solidarity movement. He told what she later on writes about: "Sister, you and me are on the list of around 100 priests and religious whom the communist government wants and plans to get rid of. You need to choose, and you need to be safe." And yet he, knowing exactly what they are planning to do with him, decided that he will be standing by the people until the very end. He embodied these very words of his, that Christians are obliged to stand by the truth even when it's costly. And he paid that price in a very literal way. It is a very stark comparison to what we are hearing today in the Gospel of St. Mark, chapter 10, when we are hearing about those two disciples, James and John, who are approaching the Lord, approaching Jesus, and asking him for a favor. The Lord is asking them, "What is the favor you want from me?" And they are then disclosing it. Make that one of us will be on your left and the other on your right hand. The Lord is saying a very tremendous words, very striking one. You do not know what you're asking for. You do not understand what you're asking about. They lost their minds, so to speak, and that's what the Lord told them. Nonetheless, the question I want to ask myself and you this weekend, this Sunday, 29th Sunday in the Church's ordinary year, on this very anniversary of the death of Blessed Jerzy Popiełuszko, the priest, is a very practical and challenging one. Do you know actually what you are asking about? What your faith and the rule of the faith is about in your life? Do I know what I am asking about? What the Lord, what Jesus, and what the faith is, and where it stands for me as well? Because it cannot be just even if beautiful, but still an ornament to my life, but rather it should be challenging. The faith is very close to the word faithfulness, being and standing there even when it's demanding, even when, as Father Jerzy Popiełuszko used to say, it's costly. And there are many occasions in the life, in the normal daily struggle, experiences and encounters with people, when we actually can pay that little or a bit sometimes bigger price for being a Christian in the society, at work, at the parish. Being a true Christian does not mean taking the place in the first row or having the place of recognition, fulfilling the career, or being the one others are impressed with. But it means to stand for those who are speechless and fight for the truth. The truth is that God created us out of love, and He wants that we will live from that love every day. And may the inspiration and the example of Father Jerzy Popiełuszko on this particular weekend, on the 40th anniversary of his death, be for us a great inspiration, but also become a challenge, that our faith is more and more mature, serious, that we see beyond what it seems to be superficial, that we won't be disappointed when the cross, struggle, suffering comes upon us, as we hear in today's first reading from this famous song of the suffering servant of God from the prophet Isaiah. But indeed, we will see what is beyond, what is deep inside there. And it is that the Lord provides light and content despite what it seems to be a terrible situation. May God